It's time for the On All Cylinders Holiday Podcast Spectacular.
Powered by Summit Racing.
With your jolly host, Paul Sokolis, and special guests, Summit Racing's Alan Revisher, David Fuller, Justin Weideman, Nicole Corey, and Will Schertz. Merry Christmas, season's greetings, and happy holidays, folks. It is time for the first, and presumably only, On All Cylinders Holiday Podcast Spectacular. Yeah, we've been doing this podcast for over 50 episodes now, so the staff got together and decided, it was high time for us to have a very special Christmas episode, right? And no Christmas episode is complete without a lineup of special guests. For that, we called in our friends from Summit Racing. Some of these names will probably sound familiar to you. Justin Weideman, David Fuller, Will Schertz, Nicole Corey, and Alan Revisher. This is going to be a fun one, so grab a bowl of figgy pudding, pour yourself some nog. We'll spin up some holiday tunes on the old hi-fi here. Time to kick off the first, and again, presumably only, On All Cylinders Holiday Podcast Spectacular. Welcome.
Hello.
Ho, ho, ho. Hi, friends.
Hello.
So you guys ready for the holidays? The halls are all decked. The holiday shopping list is all done?
Kind of, it depends. I'm ready for holiday shenanigans. Like, my favorite thing me and my buddies do every year is we call it Litmus. It's the night before Christmas. I have a giant pile of things that I've needed to burn for the end of the year, and we burn it, and we sing Yuletide carols, and we just live our best lives and celebrate the coming of Christmas. In the Christmas shopping department, I have not bought a single gift, so I need to do that on the 23rd.
Oh, you're a last-minute shopper, huh?
I thought you were going a different way with the litmus thing.
Yeah.
Your definition of that is different than mine, but
I thought it involved like explosives, but apparently not.
So it kind of, sort of. I bought 250 decommissioned cruise ship flares like 4 or 5 years ago, and on Christmas every year, me and my buddy light a couple of those cruise ship flares off.
Okay, you've redeemed yourself. Okay. I'm just cleaning out under my bed so I can hide when Christmas comes, and then when it's over, I'll come back out.
Well, that sounds like a smart way to keep the three spirits from pestering you at night. Alan, are you having problems with, like, the ghost of Christmas past?
No, so far I've avoided them.
Nicole, I saw you jumping in there. Are you a last-minute shopper?
No, I'm one of those type A people. I think I've been shopping for about a solid month. None of it's wrapped, but I was thinking about picking up my daughter a little Summit Racing engine block toy for her, or the little puzzles for Christmas, so that'll be kind of fun.
The puzzles are top tier, and I had a lot of fun building that.
You're talking about those Summit Racing puzzles you did for the video, Justin. Aren't those for, like, kids 3 and up?
I was just out of the age range, but it was still, the difficulty was there.
I was going to say, how long did it take you?
Well, that's why it was a time-lapsed video, Dave. It wasn't, it took a long time.
Right, but you look smooth doing it. I mean, I know it was a 2-hour time window for you.
If it was a small block Chevy, it would have been a lot easier.
Yeah, but when is that never not true, right? Like, oh man, if this Gen 3 Hemi was just a small block Chevy, I'd have it together now.
Exactly.
All right, so speaking of Christmas specials, since this is the On All Cylinders Holiday Podcast Spectacular and all, do you guys have a favorite Christmas special or Christmas movie for that matter? And bonus points if it's got a cool car or truck in it.
Hey, Cousin Eddie, right? His RV.
That's right.
Christmas Vacation's on pretty much every night, it seems like now, so you're getting an extra look at that. That's the first one that jumps out for me.
I had heard that even in the RC car world, apparently there's a thing to take one of those old Tonka Winnebago toys and take the body off and build an RC truck around it. I don't know if anybody's done a Cousin Eddie version, but
I would love, that's just something I got to add to my build list, Alan. Yeah, for me, I'm a big Charlie Brown Christmas guy. That's my favorite. I like all the Charlie Brown. There's not really a car in it, but I mean, Snoopy does fly a plane, so it's something motor related.
Justin's favorite thing, planes.
But what about the old man's car in Christmas Story, right? I think Will actually tracked down one of the cars from the movie and did a previous podcast on it. But that's a classic. You get the flat tire and the kid there with his potty mouth.
Oh, fudge!
Exactly.
Guy who owns the actual museum for A Christmas Story up in Cleveland, or owned maybe.
Yeah, it was sold, right?
Well, he was selling it at the time. I honestly don't know what the status of that is now.
Brand new ownership. I was scrolling through the Facebook the other day, and they did a brand new ownership announcement and they introduced a new owner and everything. So it is all good and well.
One of the guys associated with the original film, because I know that there was a guy who was one of the bullies from the movie, I think, was initially looking at buying it or had talked to the media about his interest in buying it.
I do not know that much.
Was it the short bully or the tall bully?
Pretty sure it was the short one.
Yellow eyes or green teeth is probably a better differentiator, right? Speaking of green, I know it's not technically a Christmas special or a Christmas movie, but the pea green Chrysler LeBaron from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles will always have a special place in my heart.
Yeah, yep. I mean, that is just Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I could watch that one over and over and over. That one was fantastic.
I mean, runner-up for that is the U-Haul that the polka band was in.
Oh yeah, John Candy's role in Home Alone. It was the Kenosha Kickers.
You brought up Dodge, the 86 Ram from Home Alone. The OK Plumbing, the heating van, doesn't get enough love, in my opinion.
Good call. And you know what? Here's my fun trivia for the day. They say, air quotes, that the OK Plumbing is a reference to Joe Pesci's character Leo Getz from Lethal Weapon 2, I think. So they kind of threw that on the side of the van as the fake plumbing company as a nod to that movie.
Ooh.
Oh. Okay. Yep. I see it now.
When it comes to those kind of like themes like that, you brought up kind of roundabout way. A lot of people's favorite Christmas movie is Die Hard.
Justin, I was just going to bring that up. What is the definition of a Christmas movie? Because then that really expands out the possibilities. I mean, for me, Godfather is a little bit of a Christmas movie now, or is that just me? I mean, there's a lot of Christmas in there.
It's Christmas every day for the Corleones.
That's right.
All right, so if we're loosening the definition of what makes a Christmas movie like that, then we got to throw Gremlins into the mix, because not only does it take place at Christmas, there's a cool Volkswagen Beetle that kind of plays a pivotal role in the movie.
Fun fact, that is the first PG-13 rated movie, because the whole microwave thing, putting an animal in a microwave and that not being chill, but that was like the first scary movie as I saw as a kid. That traumatized me. I was not a Gremlins. I still, as an adult, I don't know if I could watch it all the way through without being all jump. I mean, I'm already jumpy how it is, but yeah, that one was not fun for me.
All right. We'll change the subject, Justin, if you're starting to freak out. No problems. What are some holiday traditions that you recall that involve a car, a motor vehicle? And to get the conversation started, I was one of the kids that was dragged around in the back of the station wagon to look at the Christmas lights in the neighborhood. My father was a big fan of exterior illumination, a la Clark Griswold, and B, he knew it was easy and free to do. And being a father with a couple of young kids right now, I can kind of sympathize with that.
My hands up.
Even like doing it with my parents and my grandparents growing up, there was times like me and my buddies would go and, we would all load in. Someone's mom has a minivan. We pile as many people as seats and seatbelts there are in that thing and go drive around and just look. You go to different neighborhoods, all different, but like kind of over roundabouts where I live, there's somebody that does a Christmas vacation homage house, and the entire house is covered in lights, and then they have a Cousin Eddie camper out front, and it is absolutely dialed.
Does bumper skiing count?
I do love a good bumper ski.
You're going to have to enlighten some of us that may have no idea what bumper skiing actually is.
Well, I mean, it's kind of it was a grand tradition when I was a youth. Once we got our licenses, first time it snowed enough that you got a nice slick road, somebody get in the driver's seat, just hammer the throttle, and you held on for dear life.
Wow. Now, normally I'd be compelled to say something like, don't try this at home, but that really sounds like something you shouldn't try in any situation ever, right?
That's the thing is like, me and my friends talk about it now, and you always kind of talk like, we don't get as much snow as we used to, or even as young adults, you get that good snow. Me and my buddies would build an igloo out front. We built like a 13 or 14 foot tall snowman in front of my mom's house one year.
That's cool.
It was big enough to where to put the center ball on top of the bottom ball, we had to use we're using heavy equipment.
I say that counts.
Did anyone do the Polar Express on the train?
I remember doing that, yes.
Yes, I think I remember taking the kids on that one too. That's a good one. That's a good memory. And then our friend Cletus down in Florida, they do the Christmas tree drags. That's another kind of tradition. I think they're on year 5 with that. You know, they open up, I think it's Bradenton Motorsports Park, and they have a car decorating contest and do some drag racing with the cars lit up, and some of them have trees in the back and everything else. So that's kind of a cool deal there. I think that one's coming up on, it's still another week or so.
That's a super fun event. That's like one of those ideas, like you're fast asleep and you wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat and you're like, I have this crazy idea. We should try this.
Yeah, there's some good videos out there on YouTube. It looks like a lot of fun. Of course, it's much, much warmer down there than up here in Ohio, but it looks good.
Tossing another question out to the group. What's your favorite automotive-related car gift you've ever received for Christmas?
Oh boy. I remember getting a Barbie Jeep, and I drove that thing all across my backyard. Like, that Jeep would die in the middle of my parents' backyard, and it would just get dragged by my dad to the front so he could charge the battery. That one, I still remember getting it at my parents' house from my grandparents, and it was the coolest little thing ever. I felt like such a little bad chick driving my little Jeep around, just like, you see me rolling.
You know, I was a big Matchbox car guy, not Hot Wheels, Matchboxes. So I collected a lot of those, and had, a lot of accessories, cases, and stuff to go with it. And then years later, I bought my son a slot car set, and he liked it okay, but I ended up using that thing more than he did. I mean, I had that thing out in the middle of the living room for quite a long time, so that was a fun one too.
I got back in the days of yore, it was a Tyco combination slot car track and train set. It was HO. It had a little connector track, so the track and the train track would cross. And the smash ups were spectacular, especially if the train had cold cars, because that cold just went everywhere. I just giggled like a schoolgirl, and I wish I had it back. It was just that neat. I
had no idea that was a thing where you can combine the car and the train. I've seen the ones where the track crosses and the cars collide, but I didn't know you could. That's pretty sweet. It was cool. It really was cool. I wish I had it back.
So me being that I'm kind of in the same theme with you guys. Like, I did get a dirt bike for Christmas one year when I was a little kid, and I still own it to this day, which is kind of cool. But then again, so 2001 Christmas morning, I got my first slot car set, and was the Jeremy McGrath. It was Tyco Mattel combination dirt bike set, and you'd race them, and it had jumps and everything, and it was fantastic. Also, still own it to this day. But then Christmas when I was 16, I got a brand new, new old stock Quadrajet in the box with metering rods and all sorts of parts and a tuning book. Man, I just thought I was...
Did the angels sing when you open up the box? No!
Yeah, that one was like, I just thought it was amazing. My mom's least favorite Christmas gift that I ever got, though, is I got a brand new set. I was 17, got a brand new set of glass packs for Christmas. If your glass packs, you have that kind of that hillbilly crackle when all the packing starts to burn out of them. I was too impatient to wait for that. So after Christmas, me and my buddies are on the back porch taking gasoline, and I'm pouring them inside the glass packs to burn the packing out of them. And things went haywire. The back porch is on fire. The glass packs, my ankles got burnt. Like, it was fun. But man, I even put them on the truck after I cooked them properly, and man, they sounded fantastic.
Did you get a lump of coal the next year for that?
I did not, fortunately. My parents, there was one year my parents, I don't know if it's real, made up the black elf, and if you're a bad kid, they came and took all your toys instead of giving you new ones.
Oh, I wish I had known about him.
They packed up everything and like took it on out and hid it. It was horrid.
My parents did that when one year when we got 10-speed bicycles. We were all done unwrapping stuff, and then my dad goes in the garage and rolls in a new bike. And I thought it was mine because I have been asking for one forever. And he goes right by me and gives it to my brother.
Oh!
I mean,
did you hear the Price is Right horn? Boom, 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 boom.
The saddest face in the entire world was mine that day, until I had to clean up all the wrapping paper, and I took it in the garage, and my bike was there. And my dad laughed his ass off.
Nice, a happy ending. That's good. It's good to hear.
Technically a Christmas gift. I would say it was probably my my best and worst car related gift. I got my first car that way. It was a 96 Dodge Stratus. I just want to clarify, I did not come from a automotive enthusiast family. So that is the vehicle it was. And it was in a color that I could only describe as mauve. I don't know what their official description was for that purple, but yeah. No, it was not the most reliable vehicle in the world. We also, my wife, I should say, is the one who nicknamed it, but we called it Godzilla for not cool reasons. It's because of the sound that the driver door made when it creaked open.
Mauve Dodge Stratus is notwithstanding, Will, you did bring up an interesting point I wanted to toss to the group here. Has anyone other than Will and his Mauve Dodge Stratus, I just love saying that, Mauve Dodge Stratus, has anyone received a car for Christmas like those fancy Lexus commercials, like with the big red bow on top of the hood?
Nobody's ever loved me that much.
Yeah, so kind of, I guess, circling back to that is I got my first bike that way. I remember going on the back porch and there's this giant box. Like, I don't know where my dad found if he had to buy my mom a new washer, and this was part of the deal, like, to get me a dirt bike. But it was in this giant box on the back porch. And I just remember looking at it, and I'm like trying to get he had attached it really well and trying to get it. Then he hands me like a hatchet, and it's like I'm cutting through this cardboard. And then I rip it open, and there's a brand new bike inside. And I was giddy. I was extremely happy. And I remember my dad taking it all apart and getting it out. I'm like, oh, I got to ride this thing. And putting on my, I look like Ralphie in the Christmas Story in my puffy snowsuit, getting this thing, and I'm trying to ride through like 1.5 feet of snow on a 50. And that was just, that's the closest I've came. But that always has to be an interesting conversation. It's just like, oh, honey, I got you a new car. I made this giant financial decision without you. It's no big deal. We spent 80 G's, but you're going to be happy. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Please save the boat.
Hey, but if you could find any car out in your driveway that Santa would give you on Christmas, like from any era, what would it be?
Like right now?
Yeah.
My answer will change in about an hour.
Exactly. I've thought about this too, and it's like it changes by the minute. Yeah.
Right now, it would probably be what's called a Model A V8, which is basically a Model A body on a 32 Ford chassis. And I would want it chopped, bigs and littles, and a 50s period built small block Chevy, because I don't trust Ford flatheads to save my life. I would
that
love
is detailed.
Those. Well, yeah, it's because I'm on the Jalopy Journal every freaking day, and that's what you see.
It might take a lot of elves to make that one happen.
Do you know any?
Well,
honestly, I have no idea. I'm the worst person. Like everyone says, it changes all the time, to be honest. But I guess if I had to choose, maybe a Z06.
Good choice.
Solid choice.
And Will, you can still answer too. Would you be hoping Santa brings you a meticulously restored Mauve Dodge Stratus?
That would be my second choice, I think. First one, probably the Dodge Viper GTSR Team Orica race car. I played the crap out of Gran Turismo 4 back in the day and was obsessed with that thing. So that would be fun. I mean, I'd probably die in it, but still.
Those are cool cars. Well, Paul would have to have something that leaked.
You're actually, Alan, more right than you know. I'm actually going the opposite. For years, I've had a love affair with air-cooled Porsche 911s and 912s. And I've got to assume that by eliminating liquid cooling, it's one less thing to leak, right? But yeah, I got a ride in an air-cooled Porsche 911 years ago, and that memory has just stuck with me. And it's become kind of my white whale. Every opportunity I've had to buy one that's even reasonably in my price bracket, I've gone home, thought about it, and came back the next day, and it's either doubled in price or already been sold. So it's a good chance I'll never be able to make it happen. So Santa, if you're listening, air-cooled 911, pleam
I love that answer, Paul. Anything air-cooled is cool. Like, I'm into it, as I am a Volkswagen enthusiast. I like those, some of the odds and ends. I think for me, Toyota FJ45, because you see FJ40s everywhere. The FJ45, which is like the truck version, is extremely less popular and coveted and hard to find. And I think one of those, restored or not with a straight panel, either way, I would be extremely happy because I'm fixing to go beat it off trees.
Those are tough. That would be fun.
Didn't Toyota bring an FJ45 resto mod to SEMA this year?
Yes, so the Toyota Bruiser is part FJ45.
Dave, you brought this question to the table, and I don't think we've heard your answer yet.
I could go a couple ways. You can shoot for the moon for the dream car, the big getter at the auctions, or you can try something practical that you're going to use, and that's where my head's at now. So I think just a nice, simple early 70s F-body type car, Camaro, whatever, that you can do a little bit of everything with. You can decide as the year goes on what you want to do, right? Show it, autocross, drag race, whatever you want to do. So just a nice starting point like that, I would be thrilled.
Zeppelin Houses of the Holy 8-track for it.
Hell yeah, that could go in the stocking.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, as I was trying to think up questions to ask y'all during the On All Cylinders Holiday Podcast Spectacular, trademark, we've gone through some of the basic easy ones already, but this one's kind of funny. So what kind of car or truck do you think Santa drives around the North Pole when he's not delivering presents in his sleigh?
It has to be a Comet, right?
Very good.
Very good.
I was going to say a Cadillac Escalade rolling on gold 24s.
I see Santa as a 4-speed Mopar man. So, like I said, it's something heavy-powered. GTXs are the classiest of the Plymouths. So I think he has a very high-optioned 426 GTX.
I'm good
He
with
does
that.
have a skullet, so.
True.
I don't know. Maybe a Charger, like a SRT Hellcat, maybe.
I don't know. To me, like Santa would be a practical point A to point B guy with little fuss, and he'd probably want some all-wheel drive power. So maybe like a Toyota 4Runner or something like that.
So not a mauve 96 Dodge?
Yeah.
In all seriousness, or at least as serious as you can get on this question, I'm kind of in your camp, Will. Santa's decidedly old school. The dude's driving a sleigh well into the 21st century. And he's got to probably value practicality over everything else. So I'm thinking Kris Kringle rocks an old Jeep, like an old Willys era Jeep, CJ2A, 3A, 3B. He'll never get stuck, and he's still got room in the back for some elves and maybe a gift or two, right?
Okay.
What about a Prius?
Santa would be caught dead in a Prius.
I know.
Neither would Mrs. Claus.
That kind of brings up another interesting hypothetical. Do they have charging stations at the North Pole?
Nah.
No. Like you said, he's old-fashioned.
Trying to drum up controversy over here.
How about a nice Stanley steamer?
There you go.
Stanley Steamer, now there's a good idea, Alan, because then you could just open up a boiler valve and pour yourself a nice cup of hot cocoa while you're driving.
Exactly.
Going back to that earlier question of what cars you'd love to see Santa stuff under your Christmas tree, let's be a little bit more practical and click it down a notch. What are some good Gearhead gifts that you have received or that you want to receive? Maybe a specialized tool or some sort of part that you were really looking for.
So as much as I love quadrojets, I've moved on, and I'm a 4150 guy now. So vacuum secondaries is not my thing anymore. Like I like to have all the control at the foot. But I love getting car parts for Christmas. I've got camshafts before. So my dad is a hot rodder. So my dad's really good at relying to Santa on what kind of hot rod parts I would like for Christmas. And I write Christmas letters to Santa too. And there's I want nitrous, a big block, and 2810.5s. Like that's
And I'm sure he reads all of them.
Yes, he gets a lot of letters, and I hope he pays special attention to mine.
I'm sure he does. Not doing too much on the present front this year. We had to put a ton of money into the house because it discovered we had extra money, so it decided it needed something. So not much in the way of car stuff this year.
Well, and let's be honest, Alan, there's a better than likely chance that you were on Santa's naughty list anyway.
Oh well, yeah, I'm a permanent member.
I mean, I'm always looking to add tools. Does anybody have a favorite tool that they got for Christmas or something that would be on their list for this year? We have that really nice new heated jacket that we're offering that I saw, and I hate the cold, so that one might have been added to my list late.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to pick myself one of those up. I always like to buy myself a red tool or two for Christmas, so keeping with the theme, I love the Milwaukee stuff. So I actually just picked up a brand new Milwaukee radio, which I'm super, super excited about to replace. As much as I love my old I have a permanent garage radio, but this one, you can slip that M18 battery right in the back and take it wherever you want to go. And the thing is loud, and it's got Bluetooth, so it's right in the 21st century.
We have that in the studio, no?
Yeah, we have a
yeah, that thing's nice.
So it works really well, and the one it's pack out lock-in, so you can't beat it. It fits right in all your Milwaukee pack out stuff, and it's absolutely fantastic. And it'll charge a battery while you use it too.
And all it gets is episodes of Tool Time.
Yes. So yeah, I like your theme, Dave. You can never beat tools for Christmas because it's something you can use all year round.
Yeah, Justin was even helping me pick out a couple tools for my dad for Christmas since he works on cars for a living and does all that kind of stuff. So Justin's been helping me out. He's kind of my secret Santa helper, my little elf this year.
Just trying to do my part, guys. Well, and that's like the hard part about buying, like for someone like your dad, especially like Nicole's dad, is like most of our dads, he has everything. And my father is very much, if my dad wants something, he just buys it for himself. So I try to always pick abstract, obscure, useful gifts that he's like, oh, I didn't think of this. And that's what makes it matters. And that's what, I was trying to give Nicole that list of, these are the things he doesn't think of.
Right. I'm kind of like your dad. If I want a tool or a car part, I just ended up buying it to the everlasting regret of my wife who never has anything to get me.
All right, I'm going to do y'all a solid, so listen up. Years ago, I bought what is called a battery terminal or a wiper arm removal tool. And I bought it for a battery terminal, but I have since used it on about 3,000 other projects, on really everything from old Jeeps to pinball machines. And it's the perfect example of a tool that a lot of people don't even know exists. It's got these two little arms that kind of clamp around the bottom of the terminal or whatever you're trying to pull off the shaft, and then like a top little spinner knob, and it pulls the thing off. It's amazing. So yeah, go to summitracing.com, type in either battery terminal removal tool or sometimes called a wiper arm removal tool. You'll kind of see what I'm talking about. It's the perfect gift for like a gearhead that already has everything.
Huh. Yeah, I actually didn't own one of those, Paul, until I was like in my mid-20s. I bought one when I was like 24 or 25. And I've used it so much, I had to buy a second one because I wore the first one out.
I'll have to go look for that.
That is a fantastic idea. I'm doing a Secret Santa this year, and that's definitely what I'm going to get to put in the box.
You see, well, there you go. You're welcome. Man, we've been talking for close to 30 minutes on a lot of interesting stuff. Anybody have any other Christmas topics they want to bring to the table?
You know what the one thing we forgot to talk about was?
No, what's that?
Is, every year we track Santa through the NORAD thing, and I learned the story of NORAD the other day on how that came about. We all track Santa through NORAD now. It's like a very novelty thing, and NORAD is like the national tracking radar thing. I can't remember the exact year, but the red phone at NORAD rings, and the guy picks it up, and he's like, hello? And it's some little girl, and she's asking for Santa, and he starts to freak out for a second, then he realizes it's a kid. And then he's like, oh, then he kind of puts on his holiday cheer and starts to talk to her, and, about where Santa is in the world and all this. Well, it ends up Sears listed they had a hotline to call Santa, and it was one digit off from the NORAD red phone, and they messed it up in the paper. And so for every year on, they did the NORAD Santa tracking thing, and back then it was call in and see where he is. Now it's we have the World Wide Web, and you can jump on the computer and see where Santa Claus is. But super crazy, I think that just is a kind of embodiment of holiday spirit where, he could have hung up or, been very shrewd and ruined the holiday magic for this little girl. And instead, this guy played the part and created kind of a timed holiday tradition, which I just think is absolutely fantastic, and it's a really funny story.
I remember doing that with my kids.
Yep, same here.
In the late 90s, when all you had was a modem, so it tracked really, really, really slow. Then you lost it, then it came back.
So, yeah, that was my last piece to add. I forgot to bring that up.
Justin bringing in one final taste of Christmas trivia. Don't call me Ebenezer, but that clock on the wall is about ready to strike midnight. We got to think about wrapping this up. So I'm going to turn the floor over to you. Do you have any last parting holiday wishes or holiday thoughts to impart on our audience here?
We were not prepared for this.
So, I'll go first, guys, because I'll start this out. We've had a lot of fun this year, making all sorts of different podcasts, talking to a lot of cool people, and we couldn't do this without you friendly folks out there. So We appreciate your listening. We appreciate you guys, and we can't wait to see after Christmas what the new year brings and how much more cool car stuff we can do. So you guys, make sure to stay warm, make good choices, don't talk to strangers, and if you do, they're only a stranger once.
Stay away from unwrapped candy canes. Enjoy your holidays with your family. I'll get a little sentimental here. I lost my dad last year, and last Christmas and the Christmas coming up it's just not the same. So if you have all your family around, give everybody a hug, say you love them, Merry Christmas, because you don't know when you'll be able to do it again.
Yeah, I'll follow up to what Alan said. You know, I think this has been a lot of fun just talking about some different memories. And I know that, Alan, you talked about going, kind of back to your bike story and everything. So it's just a wonderful time to think about those types of things and not take for granted the good folks around you. And that's why also I would echo what Justin said. Thank you so much to our customers, our listeners, our social media fans, people that read our articles, just the community in general. It's been great. I hope everybody has a great holiday.
Thank you guys for everything that you do to support us and, the podcast that we put out and the articles and everything. And also, if you've never owned a mauve 96 Dodge Stratus, you should really treat yourself.
Speaking of blessings.
Thanks for everyone for listening and subscribing to the podcast. And if you haven't, subscribe to our YouTube channel because it's got great content there as well. And also check out all of our awesome articles on our blog, OnAllCylinders as well. And follow all of our social media channels. And hopefully everyone has a great holiday. And then maybe there will be some fun projects on the horizon for our Summit Racing YouTube channel. I'm sure Justin has plenty of fun stuff up his sleeve for that.
I think I just heard Justin's blood pressure go up over the microphone. What can I say that hasn't already been said? Thank you so much for making Summit Racing and On All Cylinders part of your Gearhead life. Hope you enjoyed listening. We'll be back in January with some fresh episodes. Until next time, from all of us at Summit Racing and On All Cylinders, have a Merry Christmas and a great New Year.
Happy holidays!
This has been the On All Cylinders Holiday Podcast Spectacular.
Powered by Summit Racing.
We'll return to our regular format for our next episode when it's posted on OnAllCylinders.com.
OnAllCylinders.com.
Ho, ho, ho.